Representative Tim Hennessey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hi, Secretary. First, let me compliment you, your administration, and your staff in the Department of Aging, and also let me salute the AAAs, as many of our members have talked about. The AAAs, in my view, do a yeoman's job in terms of dealing with our seniors and their concerns across the Commonwealth each and every day. It's been a difficult time in the desert for them, so to speak, because they've been relatively flat funded for about 10 years now. And, you know, again, I compliment them. I know we're trying to do what we can, but they do a tremendous job for our seniors, and I think we need to recognize that. One of the issues that confronts you, and you've addressed it a little bit, was the rebalancing of our senior populations who are receiving care. And that's, you know, considering the population who are receiving services in an institutional setting, in a nursing home, and those who are receiving community-based care or home-based care. In the last 3 years, I think the statistics show that we've moved from a 64% portion, slice of the pie, so to speak, in nursing homes down to 58%, and that's a move in the right direction, because the alternative type of care is much less expensive than nursing home care. And I know there's pressure to do even more in terms of moving, you know, allowing more and more of our funding to go to home and community-based services. It seems to me that when we've addressed this in the past, we run headlong into federal regulations through CMS that say you can't do that. And I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, what efforts are underway through your department to try to get CMS to change, or get Congress to change some of those federal regulations, which really get in the way of providing a more efficient type of care for our seniors, rather than nursing home or institutional care?
I think it's something we're always cognizant of, and thank you for citing the numbers, and thank you for your comments about the agencies on aging and the department, Mr. Chairman. And you know, we look at 48,000 people we're serving in nursing homes, and about 40,000 we're serving in home and community-based services right now. They're reflective of the percentage you just indicated. But as to the changes that are necessary in terms of nursing homes being an entitlement, right, a service that we're mandated to fulfill, and what home and community-based services are, we need to look at the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid regulations, as you've indicated, and maybe recommend changes to the definitions of service as they exist here in the Commonwealth. It's something that requires an intense review and effort to know what the impact will be on the service delivery system. But I thank you for highlighting the importance of it. We carefully monitor what the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid are promulgating and what rules we have to fulfill, and we'll continue to monitor that.
Okay. I guess, though, specifically, do we have any person or persons within your department that are trying to take that, you know, as part of their everyday efforts to try to fashion an approach to CMS, to the people that we need to deal with in Congress, to try to get these regulations changed?
It falls under the Office of Legislative Affairs and the Office of Policy that both look into this issue. And as far as how we address rebalancing moving forward, cognizant of CMS's regulations and the state definitions as they exist in our plan.
Okay. One other quick question. I realize we're, you know, nipping at the heels of another scheduled presentation to the committee here. Right. The Medical Assistance Transportation Program, I don't know that you deal with that directly, but I know that you and I have spoken about it. It basically provides transportation to people to community settings where they can receive some sort of training. And the way I'm led to understand the problem, if we don't provide that training to community settings, these people will probably end up being treated at hospitals in a daycare type of setting or in an outpatient setting, but basically grouping in hospitals and receiving some sort of clinical care that they're better off getting in the communities, by my view. There has been some, I think, inadequate reimbursement through the feds as far as that program is concerned, but the problem seems to be that the reaction, I think, through the Department of Welfare has been to basically say they're not going to pay for it anymore. And as I see it, that just dumps that whole population back into our hospitals, and we're going to hear from a different group of providers about the expenses that we're dumping on them. To the extent that you could do anything to try to steer that policy decision in the right direction, I would appreciate it, because I think it's very, very important that people understand that there's an alternative cost, not just a savings. So, thank you. And
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman, thank you very much. I don't have any other questions. I'm sorry, did you want to respond to that?
Well, just MATP, we're aware of changes that were made, and looking at those in a collaborative fashion, not only the Department of Public Welfare, as you've mentioned, but also with PennDOT to talk about how we provide services. I know that DPW, I think Department of Public Welfare, as of this morning, was sharing information on some ways they're addressing that, and so I would defer to Secretary Alexander and his team.
Mr. Secretary, thank you. Mr. Chairman, thank you.